To be honest, I do blame a lot of Democrat policies for this, but I feel bad for Walgreens. The Walgreens CEO reveals anti-theft measures of locking up product had the opposite effect. Yikes. Now, while we sit here and gloat and laugh and say, ha ha ha, Walgreens, I don't blame them for this. To be fair, a certain element of the people who are working for these companies, they live in these big cities, and they're voting for Democrat policies that ultimately result in this nightmare scenario. When you decriminalize shoplifting, this is what you get. Now, again, Walgreens is trying to mitigate the problem caused by failed Democrat policies, and it's not their fault that it doesn't work. Hopefully, this is a big wake-up call for very wealthy individuals who are going to stop donating to garbage Democrat causes, which make the problem worse. Now, I ain't going to sit here and tell you that Republicans have all the answers, but Republicans ain't running these big cities. So the only thing I can tell you is, heck, put a libertarian in charge. I don't know. They might make the problem worse, but I'll tell you this. The policies of these Democrats have only made it worse. I guess we don't really know what to expect, but maybe try something different for once in your lives. Here's a story from Fox Business. Walgreens Boots Alliance CEO Tim Wentworth conceded that locking up products in order to combat retail theft had a negative impact on stores. During an earnings call on Friday, executives reported a 52% increase in shrink. What? Jeez. Or a loss of inventory that can't be accounted for through sales. The increase in loss of inventory comes after the pharmacy giant's efforts to crack down on shoplifting, which Wentworth suggested may have actually backfired. When you lock things up, you don't sell as many of them. We've kind of proven that pretty conclusively, Wentworth said. It's likely a reference to viral images of items, including ice cream, being locked up to deter shoplifters. I think I have something on this. Let me see if I can find this. Here we go. I got a video for you guys. It's a video that I took. Let me tell you about this store that I went to. Here you go. You ready?
The absolute state of modern crime. I cannot buy ice cream. It is locked. Oh well, didn't need it anyway.
To be fair, I didn't need the ice cream, and it's probably better that I didn't eat it. But I see this photo where they got the ice cream locked up, and I'm like, that happened to me. I can't remember where we were. Where were we in Phoenix? I think we were in Phoenix or Tempe or something during the TPUSA event. And we went to a CVS. Yo, I needed nail clippers. I had a hangnail. And I was like, I got to get this thing off. And I walk over and it was locked up. And I'm like, I got to be honest. I'm not going to go up to the counter and be like, can you come over here and unlock the nail clippers for me? So defeated, I said, well, now that I'm really sad and just bit it off, I'm going to treat myself to some delicious ice cream. And the ice cream thing was locked. So you know what I did? Nothing. I bought nothing. I was like, I don't know, whatever. To be honest, it's kind of good for me. Like I said, I didn't need the ice cream, and it's better that I didn't have it. But I was like, let's get some ice cream and bring it back with us. Here you go. They're going to try new solutions. I got a solution for all you guys. It is, this could be big. It is, as I would describe, law enforcement. Okay, hear me out. Excuse me. What you do is you give some guys the authority to use physical force against people who break laws. You see where I'm going with this. But my friends, it's not just this failure that we're seeing in all of these stores. And I feel, again, look, I really mean it when I say I feel bad for Walgreens and these other stores that had to do this. They're losing sales. Apparently their shrink went up, which is like, we don't know where the stuff went. But I blame the policies of Democrats. Take a look at this story from Post Millennial. Seattle's new $20 minimum wage claims 6th restaurant casualty since the new year. Duh. I lived in Seattle, my friends. Let's read this story. Before we do, head over to timcast.com and click join us. I'll tell you why. As a member at timcast.com, you make everything we do possible. And you get access to this massive content library. The Discord server, which is run largely by, we do have staff running the Discord server, but it's mostly a community-driven space with morning shows, nightly shows, after shows, over 20,000 people hanging out, like-minded. If you feel lost, if you're trying to make friends, you want to meet people, you join timcast.com. Why? First, you're helping us produce this show and all the news we do, and we work really, really hard because we believe in it. We believe in you. But I do appreciate you guys watching. But largely, you get access to the Uncensored Show and the entire Discord community where you will make friends, help build culture, and that's the mission. As an aside, Cast Brew Coffee, we are getting set up with all these franchises and physical locations because we believe in creating these physical spaces. So timcast.com, help us out. If you believe in the work we do, $10 a month, and you will keep this mission going. Post-Millennial reports, Seattle's new $20 minimum wage for 2025 has caused a sixth restaurant to close since the new year. Pike Place Market Bakery, the confectional, closed on Sunday after 18 years in business. That's a bummer, man. That makes me sad. Owner Destiny Sun told Kiro News Radio, I wanted my team to have a wonderful holiday season, so I didn't mention to them that we would be closing until after New Year's Day. So this has been a long week for all of us at the confectional. The minimum wage for employees in the city limits, regardless of business size, jumped to $20.76 on January 1st. Last year, if a worker earned at least $2.72 per hour in medical benefits or tips, the business only had to pay its employees $17.25. But now, for those businesses that feature tips, the change to the minimum wage was a 20% increase. The Emerald City's increase is $4 more than Washington State's minimum wage requirement. Sund added, that allowed businesses 50 employees or under to subtract 2 from the minimum wage if they could make it up in tips and or benefits. And employees did make that up in tips. She continued, and just doing the math with the additional increase and the loss of the tip credit, it would cost my business an additional $18,000. And that's just not sustainable. At least 5 other restaurants in Seattle have closed or are closing just days after the city council's new minimum wage law went into effect. Just days. Last week, the owner of the Bel Gatto Bakery in West Seattle posted a sign in the store announcing that they were closing, saying, our revenues, unfortunately, are not able to cover the close to 20% increase in mandated wages, salaries, and payroll taxes put into effect by the Seattle City Council effective 1/1/25. This ruling has made continuation of our bakery operations untenable. Jackson's Catfish Corner, which has served Seattle Central District for 40 years, closed last week, with owner Terrell Jackson saying in an Instagram video announcing the closure, I just cannot do it anymore. I'm maxed out, y'all. And stuff breaks my heart, man. Hearing about legacy businesses and small business is amazing. And these people are so dumb, they don't know what they're doing. I've told this story before. Not everybody's heard it, so bear with me. I know you all out there, super fans, you've heard all the stories. But when we were getting Timcast set up, I met with an accountant. Sat down in his office, had his own firm, and he said, we are losing like a third of our clients right now. An accounting firm for small to medium business, how are you losing so many clients? What happened? Are you a bad business? Why should I sign with you? And the dude told me, well, Jersey enacted a minimum wage increase, and it was like 50 cents 3 months, and then it went up to $1.50 or something. And he was like, if you run a small diner and you as the owner are making $30,000, $40,000 a year because you're taking the profit, that's all you're getting. When they say overnight you have to pay all of your employees 30% more, you can't afford it. And so what's happening is these business owners are deciding to just sell off and shut down, because even when they say we're going to taper it 50 cents here, then 50 cents here, you can't accommodate all of your prices that way. One day someone walks in, they look at the menu and they go, pancakes too expensive, and they leave. When you increase prices to cover that change, the individual isn't caught up. The customer isn't caught up. Let me tell you about when I was in Spain. I went to Spain 10 years ago. It's like 11 years ago. And I asked one of my friends why the Spanish economy was so bad. Here's what she said. Spain used to be on the peseta. That was their currency. And then the EU happened and they all went on the euro. You'd wake up in the morning and for 1 peseta, you'd grab a newspaper. For 1 peseta, you grab a croissant and a coffee. They went onto the euro. The next day, when everything converted, the newspaper was €1. The coffee was €1. So what's the big deal? In order for Spain to acquire euro, it was 3-1. The conversion rate for the peseta, because their economy wasn't as good, wasn't caught up to the euro. So overnight, all the people of Spain saw their purchasing power drop by 60 some odd %. And they began to struggle. And it created a chain, a ripple effect. So when you look at what's going on with these Democrat policies, we're going to make it so that everybody gets paid more. It don't work that way. The businesses close down because they can't just pay more. They don't have the money in the bank. Dude, it's like these Democrats working in government, they've never run businesses. The money has to be in the bank to pay the employees more, which means in anticipation of this, they have to raise the prices beforehand. Then the customer says, I'm not going to buy it because the customer doesn't get a wage increase until it goes into effect. Sales go down, the coffers go down, and then the business says, we have no money to give a pay raise. Stupid policy, and it's burning down our good small businesses and our big ones like Walgreens. So while we sit here, my friends, and we lament the tragedies and the failures, look, I feel bad for Walgreens, man. We can gloat and we can laugh, but it ain't their fault. Maybe we need police. Or maybe just societies of scale don't work. I have no idea. I'll leave it there, my friends. You should be over at youtube.com/Timcast watching the Culture War podcast. Why ain't you? I'll see you there. Thanks for hanging out. We got more segments probably today, and we'll see y'all then.